All right, welcome back, everyone. ENGR 248, SolidWorks, week 7, just like that. So here's the calendar, and we have week 8, 9, and 10, and then we have finals the week of the 10th. So that's what we have left. We're doing good. We just got into assemblies. We'll come back to assemblies, but we're going to go to part modeling again. I like to jump back and forth. I don't want you to forget how to part model as we move into assemblies. So I'm going to show you some more features and tools today. Not many, but a few. And you're going to do a coffee mug for me at this week. The beginning of this week, there'll be maybe something else at the end of the week that I'll put up that's probably an assembly again. Okay. So you could do the coffee mug as an assembly, having the mug having the handle being different than the mug. Like it could be a separate part. So if you wanted to do that, you could, and then that handle could go on to any coffee mug in the future, right? As long as it had the same radius, I guess. Anyway, you don't have to. It can be all one part. I just want to show you some other parts of SolidWorks that we haven't kind of got to yet. So, all right. So starting off with a part and a sketch, I want to show you extrude taper. I don't think we've done that yet. So we're just going to create a sketch. I'll start on the bottom, or sorry, on the top plane. It's really the bottom of my coffee cup. I don't have a coffee cup here in front of me, I don't think. I'm looking. Yeah, no coffee cup. I got this, but it doesn't have a handle, so this will not work. It's got to have a handle. Oh, there we go. We got the beaver coffee cup, right? So there we go. And I even think I thought I had calipers in here, but yeah, I have calipers too. So I could actually, get my calipers out and measure up the beaver coffee cup. But I'm probably not going to do that. I'll probably do some estimating, and you can estimate too, but looks like the top of the coffee cup is wider than the bottom of the bottom, right? So there's a couple ways we could do that. I'm going to show you extrude taper first. And then I'm going to show you loft, and then we'll do the handle. So it looks like the base is 3.160. Okay. So let's do a circle. And size it at 3.160. So that's my base. Now, my modeling intent is going to be draw the base, do the extrusion, add taper for this part, and then shell it to create the hole, which we haven't done shell yet, I don't believe. It does have a recess in the bottom, and that's the kind of detail I'd like you to really try to figure out and figure out how to do it. So that means this bottom has a thickness to it. Kind of hard to measure, but do your best to try and figure that out. A lot of them do have a recess in the bottom. So I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to get you started. I'll do this body a couple of different ways, and I'll start the handle for you. Okay. All right. So we're going to extrude this out. Looks like 3.750. 3 3/4. So 3.750 is that, and then I can add taper. So here's the taper button. So 1 degree, as you can see, I'll change it to 10 degrees, and you gets a little more dramatic so you can see it. That's tapering in. You can click a button right there and taper it out. Now, that appears to be a little too much. The problem is you don't have a lot of control over this. So I'm just trying to estimate what that taper is, right? And then I could measure it, and then I could adjust. So taper is not fantastic for, a very precise situation, but we'll see what we get here. And I should be able to then go to Sketch and do a smart dimension and see if I can get, it's not gonna let me. Bum, bum, bum. All right, so I want to measure. It's in evaluate, and it's right here, measure. So I can click on it, and it's going to tell me what it is, 3.82. And what do I have up here? 3.730. So 3.730, I'm a little too much taper, right? So you can kind of do it that way if you want. I mean, it works good enough for a coffee cup. The other way would be to loft it from here to here. So that's drawing two circles. So I'll go back and edit this, reduce that taper maybe 1 degrees, 4. And that will be pretty close. So we're going to say that's good, right? We could measure again. Oh, 7.8 is pretty close to 7, or to 6.8 is close to 7.2. So we're going to call that good. So that's one way to do it. And then the way to turn it into a cup is with this shell feature. Now, I may not want to shell it until I kind of fully know how deep this bottom is, right? But I could add material in the bottom if it ends up not thick enough. So that would be one strategy. Or I could recess this first, which that's probably what I would do, is recess this first. So it looks like it's got a fillet in here, right? So I'd probably do this cut. And for those of you that haven't run these before, they have a depth gauge to them, so it's kind of nice. I should be able to run this down and measure the depth. Like right there is pretty close. So that's 0.150. So, and then I could measure this, right? Appears to be 0.170. 0.17 is kind of the offset in. So I'm going to go sketch and sketch on this bottom surface. Now, if you've not used convert entities, that's another thing I wanted to show you. Convert entities takes the edge and turns it into a line. So if I say convert entities and I just show it this surface, it's going to find this circle and it's going to convert it to a line in my sketch. So I didn't have to draw that circle. Super nice. And then I'm going to offset the 0.17. So that, it's going the wrong way. So I'm going to reverse right here. And now it's going in. So I converted this and then I offset it the right distance. And now I don't need this, right? This can go away. So I'm not fully defined, but I know that is the right size. And I'm going to do an extrude cut. So on extrude cut, you can actually add taper to it also. But this was the 0.15 number. I'm not going to add taper. I'm just going to fill it that when I'm done. So it appears that, all these corners all have like a fillet round to them. This one inside looks like it's pretty close to the full rounded up fillet. So that's going to be fillet. And I'm going to click on that edge and it's already set to 0.1. I'm going to make it 0.14, not the full 0.15, because sometimes SolidWorks has an issue with completely eliminating a surface. So I'm going to hit check to that. So that did good. It recessed it. And then I would probably fillet these out too, because all of these corners are nicely rounded in my cup. But that gives me my recess out the bottom. All right, so now I can show you shell. Shell is going to empty a solid into a hollow, and it'll leave a certain amount of material. So this may have some taper to it, but I'm thinking it probably doesn't. It's probably the same thickness throughout. It looks like the rim gets a little skinnier at the top, but essentially it's 0.3 thick. So shell is a feature. And this says, select a surface to remove, a face. So this is the one I want to remove, right? And I don't want it 0.1, I want it 0.3. So, and we're going to shell, we can show the preview and you can see what it's going to do. So it found the base too, and it's given me 0.3 from that base. So my assumption is that base is 0.3 also. But that's why I wanted that recess in first, because if I would have done the shell first, it would have shelled to that bottom surface. So that's modeling intent right there. But when I click yes, it does it, right? Now, it's not 0.3 at the top. There's definitely a taper to it. So there's a number of ways I could do that. I could probably just add a fillet that would be pretty close, but I actually think it has, a certain distance is tapered in. So look for that in the mug that you're doing. And I want it to be a mug, like this. It'd be great if it was ceramic. It doesn't have to be, but ceramic ones are hard because they have so many different features, right? This handle would be very hard, thicker to thinner, like a whole bunch of change here. So you may have to just simplify this, and I'm okay with that. All right. Let's work on the handle because that's what I want to show you. Kind of how to get it started. This is a round surface. We cannot sketch on round surfaces. So that means whatever we're going to do, however we're going to do this, we're going to draw it out here and we're going to shoot it to the coffee cup. Notice that this top part looks like it comes in at an angle. That's tricky. This one looks like it comes in straight and then a fillet's added here. So you can probably do that. I'm going to bring the top one in straight too. But I can show you how you would bring it in at an angle. You would just need a plane to draw on and shoot from. So we're going to do planes. So it's under features where we're going to make a plane. So a plane requires 3 points. So I can choose 3 points of this object, or I can also open up my history tree and just choose one of these planes. So you can choose an existing plane to make a new plane, or you can choose points on your object. The easiest way for this project is to say, oh, I'm going to choose the right plane, and then I can drag it out. No, I can't drag it out. I can add distances like 2, right? So that's out a little ways, not very far. 2.2. That's better. I'm going to go out even a little further. 2.5. All right. So that's not very far away, but it's like the first part, right, of the handle is what I could do. Once you get that part done, then you can work off of those surfaces and it's a little bit easier to figure out. So it appears to be a bit rectangular, like in shape. I don't know if you can see that. So it's kind of rectangular. And I'm going to keep it simple. I can add all these kind of curves to it later, but I'm just going to box it in for now, and then I could fillet it up and give it a little bit of this kind of look. There's other ways to do this than the way I'm showing you. Like, sweep works really well, and maybe I'll do a little sweep also to show you how that works. So, all right. So when it says fully defined for your plane, that should do it, right? You should be able to hit the green check and go for it. So now I have a plane. It's called plane 1, and it shows up in the history tree, but I can sketch on it, which is the nice part. So what I'm going to do is just draw a center line so I kind of know where the center of my system is, because that's nice. And then I'm going to just do some sketching, right? I'm not going to get too crazy. So I'll do that. And I will size it. Yeah, I don't know. 0.25 and maybe 0.25. Well, that's good. And because I really wanted it symmetrical, now I'll just mirror the objects. So if you haven't used a mirror, you should do that because that keeps things symmetrical no matter what changes get made. So it's very nice. You know, and if I wanted to, I could add some fillets to make this a little more roundy looking, you know. So yeah, fillet right there. Looks like it's going to do 0.1, which might be enough. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. It's got some issue with that. Not sure what its issue is, but we're just going to progress. All right. So there's that. Right. So I sketched on a plane away from my object. And this is how you make a geometry go up to a tapered circular surface, which we can't draw on. So, you know, I want two of these. So maybe I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to go back to the normal view. That's this button right here. And then I'm going to go and copy entities because I really don't want to draw that again. So I'm going to choose it all. It's going to take all the dimensions and everything. And I'm going to go from point to point just because I'm doing guesswork here. So from point, yeah, we'll go down pretty low. And if I wanted to, I could, you know, throw dimensions in to make this more precise. So now I've got this one and this one, right? And what I want to do is I want to extrude it. And I want to flip the direction and send it to a surface, up to surface. And it's that surface that I want to send it to. And look what it does. It makes it nice, a beautiful transition to a curved, tapered surface. So that is how to get started with your handle. And then from there, you can use these surfaces to sketch and extrude. You can do it a number of different ways from here, but that should get you started. And it's definitely good enough for this. And, you know, I could add material and add a fillet. So there's a lot that can be done to make this a little cleaner. You know, just adding a fillet around it like that, not even thinking about the size, starts to give it a nice geometry look. So yeah, go for it. I could add a fillet around this top edge and this outside edge, and it just makes a world of difference, you know, in the geometry of your coffee cup or teacup or whatever you use. So there you go. All right, maybe I want a spline. Sorry, sweep. A sweep has a path and a profile. So I'll show you that real quick. That might be a really nice way to finish this up. So it needs two things, needs two different sketches. So one sketch can be this geometry right here. And that's the geometry that I want to sweep around, right? So again, I'm just going to convert entities and say, okay, and it makes that sketch for me. So now I have a sketch right there. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to exit that sketch. And it's there, not being used by anything. And I'm going to make a new sketch. And this sketch I'm going to put onto that plane, the front plane. So that front plane is right through the middle of my object. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back perpendicular to that sketch. Is I'm going to come and I'm going to make another sketch here. that comes from the center of this. So I got to get in close. And I'll bring it out. I don't know how far. I don't need to bring it out too far. Bring it down. Maybe I can come in here and drag a center mark out. Maybe it's not going to. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Nope, it won't. So I'll just bring it down and past, and then I'll do another line. Hopefully I'll be able to grab a midpoint. I'm not sure I got it. So maybe I can roll it a little and pull one of these off. Oh, nope, it's not going to find it. Yeah, this is where I really need that geometry because it doesn't always, it won't find surfaces sometimes. Like this is not part of that sketch, right? So maybe I have to like convert this also. So let's try that. I'm going to convert that. See if it'll do it. Nope, won't do it. It has an issue with that. Face selected cannot be perpendicular to the sketch plane. Okay, well, it doesn't like it. But you see what I'm doing? I'm sketching on a plane, right? That is coming straight out. So that's really good. The problem is I can't grab the center of this. So I should be able to because it appears to be on that plane, but it's SolidWorks is, SolidWorks is kind of that way. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to approximate it. Center to center on that sketch would have been good information because then I could just, smart dimension this the right size. So let's see how close I get here. Yeah, I really should grab those, but it's just not doing it. No midpoint. Bummer. Yeah, this is where I definitely need. All right, we're going to just go for it. And then trim that up, right? And before I do it, I'm going to trying to add a radius. If the radius is too tight and it can't swing that geometry, then that's a problem. But I'll see how much we can get here. Let's go 0.2. Well, let's go 0.3 and see if that works. Oh, 0.3 is good. So let's do 0.3, right? So now I have that sketch, right? And here's the first sketch. That's the profile. So now I am going to exit sketch. I didn't have to, but I just wanted to show you. Here's two sketches. That's what you have to have for sweep. So here's sweep. And the first sketch is the profile. See the little circle? Yeah, profile. That's this one. And I'm just going to click on it. So it found that profile. Now it wants a path. And it's going to take that profile and it's going to spin it around the path. Like that. Boom. And how close did I get down here? I'm off a little. Yeah. So if I had that dimension, it would have been perfect, but I got close. Anyway, there's the first phase of this version of the coffee mug, and that's definitely enough to get you rocking and rolling on this. So good luck, and let me know how it goes.